From LA Late headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LA Late.
On Friday, Wall Street was shocked when the Consumer Price Index number was released that signaled that inflation for the month of May went dramatically higher. Today, the Dow Jones is down dramatically, down nearly 900 points. A crypto crash is underway, with cryptocurrency falling nearly 14% to its lowest levels of 2020. And now consumer confidence is eroding. In this recording, we're going over the big issues at hand that are driving this economy downward. And that is why you have to get that fourth stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. Step 1, become a member. Step 2, subscribe. And step 3, stay later in this recording as I go over those incredible checks I found for you in every U.S. state. A fourth stimulus check, upwards of $80,000 for you if you're on benefits, if you're not, if you're married, if you're young, if you're old, and if you have children, or if you don't. I have all that incredible information coming up later in this recording. But as we start a big day today, big problems with this economy, and it's getting worse by the day. We're not just talking about recession coming next year, we're talking about the problems right now. A crypto crash underway today as Bitcoin fell to its lowest levels ever seen in the history of this channel. The stock market down dramatically, down 830 points as the Nasdaq fell 4% today. Oil down, tech down, retail down. And the problems at issue are not just stopping there. As a 2-year Treasury note surged out of control to its highest levels upwards since 2007. Yes, a recession's coming, but Americans believe that this is the recession. They had that off base. I'll go over the latest analysis today, why the consumer confidence has fallen apart, and why consumers believe this is as bad as it's going to get. It's just getting started. In the next 90 days, the downward spiral of this economy will be more pronounced, and next year, it's going to be even worse. That is why you got to get that fourth stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. Meantime, the Federal Reserve will be meeting tomorrow, and tonight I have a big preview of a major announcement that your benefits could be going up 8% in December. What's going on? It's a lot of money, and the fourth stimulus check is in every U.S. state. Subscribe, become a member, and over this big 1-hour broadcast, we're going to go over all that money. For the shores of Santa Monica, California, for June 13th, 2022, it's Afternoons LA, and the breaking news starts right now. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. It is June 13th, 2022, here in the shores of Santa Monica, California. A lot of major stories we're watching today. Of course, that downward spiral of the U.S. economy and the crashing of the U.S. stock exchange once again. It was down 800 points on Friday. Today, it's down 880 points at the time of this recording, but it's just getting started. Why is this happening so quickly and so pronounced? Consumer confidence is very important in this economy, and if you don't have consumer confidence, it falls apart very quickly. And that's what happened on Friday, as consumers ran for the hills. Last Friday, consumer confidence fell apart, as that consumer price index number, the CPI, was released on Friday. And when consumers saw that number, saw the stock market crash 800 points on Friday, they lost all the confidence, and it fell so badly. In fact, how badly is it today? Consumer confidence as of last Friday was the worst level we've seen since the start of the pandemic. In fact, the confidence levels now in the United States are the worst since even during the pandemic. Later in this recording, we're going to go over to Europe, and their consumer confidence now is worse than when they were in lockdown during the pandemic. Yeah. So that was as Friday. Why? Because the consumer price index number, the CPI, was released on Friday, and it signaled that inflation is going higher. Not 8%, 8.5%. Wall Street looking at 8.4%. And this spooked the markets. It spooked the Americans. And it also signaled that Americans, mom and pop, people on the porch next door to you, people at the supermarket, all understand there's something wrong. There's something really wrong with this economy. In this recording, we're going to go over everything that's wrong and where it's going to be in the next 90 days. We're going to go over inflation. We're going to go over gasoline. We're going to go over jobs. We're going to go over the economy. Then we're going to go over the more important details like the Federal Reserve tomorrow. We're going to go over to the labor numbers, the corporate earnings numbers, the Dow and the crypto. But first, we're going to start with your money. A Build Back Better Act is currently in the Senate, but you cannot wait for it. The narrative on this channel has slightly changed because what I'm making very clear to you is that in the next 90 days, I care so much about you. I got to tell you, the next 90 days, this U.S. economy is going to be in a bonfire of calamities, and you can't wait 90 days for the Build Back Better Act. You got to get the checks that I found for you in March. A forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, not just one, but a lot of them, and you got to get these checks today. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. You can't wait for the Build Back Better Act because in 90 days, this economy is going to be in shambles. Now, I certainly do not know one thing right now at the time of this recording. I'm fully going to disclose it right now. I see the next 90 days. The economy is getting so bad by the hour. It could look horrific in 30 days. I've been saying 90 days for a while. My projection is September. By September, this economy is going to be in shambles. But the way this economy has gone since just that CPI was released early Friday morning has been horrific. It's been less than a few days. And if you look back to February, if you look back to March, which was just, 60 days away, 90 days away, that we are a totally different economy. Let me tell you how bad it is today. And if you're watching this channel on the weekend or watching last Friday, you can compare that how bad it has changed in just a few days. Today we start with cryptocurrency losing virtually all of its value. Bitcoin is now down to its lowest levels ever seen in the history of this channel. I taught you when we had that crypto show on the channel, then when Americans have risks and they have downward spiraling economies, that they're going to get out of the risky assets, and they're dropping crypto like it's a hot potato. Bitcoin is down to $24,000 a coin. Not 34,000, not 44,000, 24,000. And some analysts believe it's going to go 30% lower. Yeah, that is a crypto crash, a crypto winter, whatever you want to call it. Stock market, let's go over to them. Stock market, the Dow is down 830 points right now, 2.6%. The S&P is down 3.3, almost 4% today. NASDAQ is heading to almost 5% down just for the day. Let's look at individual stocks. I don't care if it's Boeing. I don't care if it's Chevron. I don't care if it's Dow Inc. They're all down 7, 5, 8, not 5%. Then if you look over at tech, same thing. NVIDIA, Amazon, 6%. If you look at banking, 5, 6%. There's nothing good in any of there. Yeah, there is a little bit some oil stocks here and there. But otherwise, retail, tech, banking, aerospace, all down 6% day after day. Let's be very, very clear to you. 6% down on Friday, 6% down on today. If you look at the Amazon chart, it looks like a roller coaster, and it doesn't look like a ride up. It looks like a ride down. Things are losing all their value very quickly. Let's go over Treasury. Treasury, very important. Treasury yields are the bond rates, and those show you how higher your flexible credit at home may be going, your flexible debt. And that 2-year Treasury yield right today is at the highest level since 2007. Not 17, not 27. 2007. This is horrific. We're now at 3.2%. If you win this channel for a while, that was just 1 point something, just a very short time ago. This 10-year benchmark is now chopping at 3.26%. I got to tell you, if you have anything flexible rate, get rid of it right now. I've been telling this for you for about a month. It's going to be a lot worse. What are those items? A car loan, credit card debt. Switch it into something fixed if you can. Otherwise, get it paid off. Get rid of it. Because Jay Powell's coming in tomorrow and the day after. Who's Jay Powell? He's the head of the Federal Reserve. He's going to raise those interest rates, and he's going to do half basis point. That's a no-brainer. That's about as easy to predict as something like, Mitch McConnell showing up in lobster shorts in the Senate chambers. It's just very predictable. Then here come corporate layoffs. Tesla again. Now, let's be very clear. Tesla's doing really well on the revenue side. So they're a well-oiled company. And here comes Tesla with more layoffs. Not last Saturday, but the Saturday before that. They were the first major corporation featured on this channel that had a huge layoff and a hiring freeze. 10% in the U.S., And then a hiring freeze. I mean, do not come asking for a job. We don't have one. So here we go again. They are laying off its Singapore country manager in Singapore as they're having big problems with supply chain overseas. That is just that. Meantime, the Federal Reserve, of course, will be meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, which is the 14th, and then Wednesday, which is the 15th. I'm trying to remember my calendar because calendar Colleen is not here. And when they meet, they are going to likely do half to this week. But what after that? They could potentially give us guidance on what they're going to do for the rest of those next two meetings. I believe, and I've been saying this since that CPI was released on Friday, that the Federal Reserve will do half, 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 will do at least 3 more half basis point increases. And it could be actually worse. What's tomorrow? Tuesday, we can get that PPI number, producer price index number. It's the sister or brother to the CPI released on Friday. And that will give us, and we'll also get the retail sales numbers on Wednesday. That will show us how hot inflation is. You got to get a stimulus check. I mean, what are you doing? You got to get those 4 stimulus checks I have for you. This economy is so bad and is going to be so much worse in 90 days. You cannot wait for the Build Back Better Act. I could go through all the individual clusters for you like I've done before. I could say, this is going to survive and that's going to survive. And then we have this cluster that does this and then that cluster can do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. Why would I do that? Because I care about you. And I care that you have financial strength over the next 90 days as we have all these economic pressures at issue. And the only way I can protect you for that is saying, get a check. I could play it as loudly and thickly as I can and with a megaphone. So get the checks that are available right now. Because in 90 days from now, this is going to be a very bad situation. And that's just the start of it. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that newsletter Monday through Friday. And in the second half of this video, thank goodness. Thank goodness, because the second half of this video, I got checks for you. Breathe. Breathe. There is a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state for you if you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, more. Not small checks, big checks, upwards of $80,000. You deserve it. And in view of all this horrible implosion of this economy, you need it. You need to get it right now. And later in this recording, I'm going to show you how to get it, and I'm going to show you how to keep on getting checks every few days, because here we go. Where we are today for June 13th, I keep on looking at the calendar, June 13th, 2022, is that this economy looks bad, but this is really what I'm calling phase 1. This is phase 1. Phase 2 will be the 90 days out from now, about September. Phase 2 will be when it's horrific. Then phase 3 will be January 2023, the recession. And that's where we're going. If you're new to this channel, let me tell you what you're watching. You're watching LA News, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, and I do 3 things. I tell you the latest financial data today. I tell you what the CPI was today, or the PPI. Then I give the analysis. I tell you where's this economy going in 90 days, 80 days, 2 years. And I've been spot on. My track record is spot on, 100% correct since 2021. I get all my projections really well, and I'm the only guy that generally gets it right. Wall Street's getting it wrong a lot of the time. Then I get your money later in this recording. Let me tell you what the consumer confidence looks like at the moment, and what the gauges are suggesting that's going to look like for phase 2 and phase 3. At the moment, it's looking like September may resemble the first months of the lockdown of March 2020. Ouch. Yeah. You want to experience that again? Yes. Now, here is what I want to pause and say before I go further. There's a benefit this time around. You weren't given a big warning that you were going on a lockdown in March of 2020 because of COVID, remember? It just sort of was like, wait a second, I got to go on lockdown. Yeah, let's go to Costco and jump on top of each other and push and shove to get some toilet paper. Yeah, the toilet paper apocalypse. You remember that. There was a lobster apocalypse. It was in Kentucky, but you didn't see it on broadcast news. But the difference this time is that I'm telling you the apocalypse of toilet paper is coming. Well, not toilet paper, but the apocalypse of this economy is coming. And so you can prepare ahead of time. September's a while out. I mean, this is just June. Then phase 3 will be January. January will start the recession, as I've been predicting. I'm one of the few people that really talks about recession. I've been talking about recession since February. And in February, no one was even speaking about recession. And when the recession hits, it's going to be worse than anything you've seen of a generation. Yeah, it's not going to be as bad as COVID. It's going to be 1,000% worse than COVID. And so that is why you can't wait to get these checks across the board. Let me go back to the breaking news today and tell you where we are on this data, because the data points today are horrible. All right, so we already see the stock market crashing, crypto's crashing, and everything is down with the exception of maybe oil stocks. Oh, what about gasoline? I'll get to that in a second. The bond yields are surging to the highest levels we've seen in nearly 20 years. And then the layoffs, the corporate layoffs are very pronounced. We've been talking about this a lot in the live chat. The unemployment situation is going to get very bad very quickly. And the difference this time around is there's none of that unemployment benefits. So you were put onto lockdown in March of 2020, and I pressed record on March 25th, 2020. I had good news for you. If you're unemployed and you're an independent contractor, I had PUA. If you were a W-2 and you had already used some weeks, I had extended benefits, PEUC. I had the add-on, the supplemental money per week of $600 a week, FPUC. And none of that exists anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. So, and my sense of the American landscape is Americans don't know that. And so when people start to get laid off, first, they're going to think it's February. First, people can get laid off think it's February. It's February, isn't it still? I can just go get another job next door and actually ask for a hiring bonus and actually ask for salary raise. And then you go next door, it says hiring freeze. Hiring freeze, what is that? Hiring freeze is what happens in recession. They don't let you get a job. They say you don't come back applying for a job for many years. I think that the vast majority of the people who are employed right now think that if they got laid off, they could actually demand a salary raise and there would be a job right next door. That rude awakening has really hit the economy. Why? Because the broadcast media and even the analysts just 7 days ago were saying there's no layoffs. When you see the visuals, the images of layoffs, the mom and pop store says do not apply. We're not hiring. Those images on front page of local news, then it's going to start to hit, and people are going to say, wait a second, you mean there is no job security? There are layoffs happening. And so what's going to happen is there's no unemployment stimulus like that anymore. That's why you got to get these stimulus checks in every U.S. state. This Thursday, we're looking at that new jobless claims number. I'm going to give you my prediction. The new jobless claims number will be over 200,000 again. It was 220 last week. It's horrific. It can't be that way. It needs to be down to 188. It's at 188. It's not. It's going to go to 220, 230, 240. It's going to keep on going higher because more people are getting laid off. The data we learned last week is that people are getting laid off. Not it's just big box retailers, but also from small mom and pop businesses that are going under. Yep, it looks exactly like March of 2020. People are losing their businesses and they're shutting their doors and people being laid off. That inflation is going to go higher. Here's the analysis, is that the inflation, in my opinion, is going to go higher. The unemployment is going to go higher. That the consumer confidence is going to drop. That the housing market crash is going to get worse. That the stock market crash is going to get worse. That the auto industry is going to get worse. And their crash is going to happen. And amongst all that, is there anything positive? No. Shares of on the international level plummeting dramatically. The Hong Kong Hang Seng is down 3%, as is South Korea KOPSI and the Japan Nikkei 225 today. European stocks are down dramatically. And in a second, I'm going to tell you what's happening in Italy. It's not olive oil. It's not delicious. It's horrific. I'll go to that in a second. The Federal Reserve is meeting tomorrow and meeting Wednesday. And Jay Powell is... he's trying to do another fairy tale book. He's trying to write another fairy tale. I'm getting inflation down in 2 weeks, and I'm getting it down to 1% by the end of the year. Yeah, Jay Powell's just going to do half basis point tomorrow, and there we go. Will he give us guidance for the next meetings after that? Of course he is. I mean, he's basically saying, I'm going to stay with half basis point until we get this down. Would he do 3/4 of a basis point? I think there's a big likelihood that he does 3/4 of a basis point. This keeps on going on. And, this morning when I was getting ready to come on set, I thought to myself, remember back in February, we were talking about the The Fed is trying to engineer a soft landing. They're trying to engineer a soft landing. I don't know if they can pull off a soft landing, maybe a hard landing. We all thought it was ridiculous at the time. It was going to be a hard landing. He was going to send you in recession. He was going to end inflation by sending you a recession. I mean, that's what ends recession, ends inflation. You lose everything in a recession. And so hard landing, yeah, your butt's gonna hurt because it's really hard the landing we're having right now. Now let's go over to the situation on gasoline. Gasoline was 123 a barrel, international Brent crude on Sunday. It's 120. Why is it back down a little bit today? Because there's new concerns of COVID spreading. Yeah, as if I couldn't give you anything else. You know, we're repeating the lockdown of 2020, the economic environment. The only difference was they had lockdown and we. Oh no, we do have COVID again. Yes, there's new upsurge of COVID cases in the United States and also in the international levels, and those upsurges are now disrupting the oil. That may bring down the price of gasoline, but overall, the price of gasoline is uncontrollable. The price of gasoline right now is at the highest levels of a generation. The U.S. domestic price of gasoline is at $5 a gallon at the pump nationwide average. I mean, in Los Angeles, far over $7. But I'm predicting it's going to go to 10. Yeah, I'm predicting it's going to go to $10 a gallon in the United States. In the international price, Brent crude will go from 120 to 185. As for the first data point, not a lot of people agree with me. On the second data point, most people agree with me, like JP Morgan Chase. They say 185. And later in the I'm going to show you why the White House has gotten nothing solved with this situation. And with nothing solved, that's going to be a much worse situation than it is even today. Let me just give you a glimpse of what's going on overseas, because remember, what I've taught you really well is that our economy could be nirvana. Our economy could be, The Little Mermaid. It could just be beautiful, like a Disney fantasy story. And then Canada, England, Italy, France, Germany could be going into the throngs of Games of Thrones. And then we look at them and like, what's going on with you folks? You're going to recession? Well, we're fine here. We're fine. And then suddenly we go in recession. That's how it works. The countries are too symbiotic because we're symbiotic. If one other country goes in recession, we go in recession. So let me tell you what's going on with those symbiotic countries right today. Italy's 10-year bond yield is at 4%, the highest level since seen in 2014. 2014. I mean, that's just a long time ago. And Germany and Italian bond yields are now showing that the highest level of consumer dissentiment in Europe it's seen in nearly a generation. The inflation is so out of control in Italy and Germany and France that no one is doing anything. It's very serious. And let's pause for a second. Remember, this is June 13th. This is June 13th. This is phase one. I said phase two is where we're going to be worried in September. We're already imploding right now. Folks, you got to get that forcible check in every U.S. state. You got to get it. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over these incredible checks. We're going to go over the importance of getting these checks, going and getting more of these checks, and then the day after that, getting more checks as well. Step one, subscribe to this channel. Go right into this video, hit that subscribe button. Hit it right now. Step two, hit that little alert button, a bell on the front of this channel. Hit it and make sure it's set to all notifications. There's two different settings. One is all. You need to make sure it's set to all. That makes sure you get all notifications. You got to get all notifications. And step three, go under this video. It says join here and join the channel. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. In the second half of this video, I'm going to go over those four stimulus checks that are in every U.S. state that I got for you. You're not going to see this in broadcast media. You're not going to see it in print media. You're not going to see it anywhere else. LA is the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America. We have a focus to be number 2. And there's a lot of changes coming to this channel in the next 90 days. Thank goodness. Because this is going to be the number 1 story in America in the next 90 days. The economy. The economy, how to navigate it. Where is it going? Why is it so bad? Why is it changing so dramatically? You've been watching this channel for a long time, and you were told by me in February, this is where we're going. I've guided you along the way and told you where this is going. In fact, I got rid of the crypto show. I said I can't record a crypto anymore. It's going to go into a major crash. I can't talk about crypto anymore. I got rid of the crypto show 6 months ago for an obvious reason. Here you go. We have a lot to go over in the second half with those big checks. Subscribe, become a member, hit that little bell, and I'll see you back in 60 seconds. As America's most watched show at the midday Afternoons LA continues, but first, here's a little bit about the members community page. I'll see you back in 60 seconds, and I'll give you a teaser about that Evenings LA show with that major lift for benefits if it goes through. It's very exciting. See you back in 60 seconds as Afternoons LA continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Late Daily for the excitement of the new LA Late live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA Late at 9 a.m. Home LA Late returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues on the big half of Afternoons LA for June 13th, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good afternoon. The latest details today is that the consumer confidence eroded on Friday when that CPI, that inflationary benchmark, ran out of control. Inflation's running hot and worries about a recession are leaps and bounds, but we're not in a recession. And when we are next year, this economy will be a lot worse. That's why you can't wait to get these checks. A forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and it landed in the month of March. Landed by executive order, not by Congress, not by a vote of Congress, not by the Build Back Better Act, from the president, and also from the states. And I found it for you after you asked me to find it for you. And we're going to go over those incredible checks right now. The way you get them is the following. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Go out of this video, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single video of breaking news. And there's a lot of breaking news on the hour, by the hour on LA Late. Step 2, become a member. And hit that join button to become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. And number 3, get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me give you a step back to understand where we got to, how we got to this spot, and where we're going as well. Viewers of this channel for a long time have asked me at different times since this channel launched, can you get me some money? They asked it to me in December 2020. Then in March of this year, you were so smart. You were so smart. I teached you well. You understood there's something going on here, and I need a little bit of help, Ella. Can you give me some checks? You understood that the Build Back Better Act was not getting done. You understood that this economy looked really good in February, but suddenly by March was changing in the other direction. And you said, you know what? You trained me well. I always taught you get checks when things are good, because when things are bad, everyone else wants the same checks, and there's not a lot of money gets used up really quickly. So I looked and I found them, and I gave them lettering systems on this channel. Check A, check B, check C, and check D. There will be more checks potentially as well, and they came from executive order from the presidents as well. The great thing, as Kat says, you do eligibility so well, she's a longtime viewer, is you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it. Rent, own, have children, don't have children, young, old, go get it. We're going to go over all those incredible checks right now. My focus is to get you big checks, obviously, because this economy is getting really badly beat up. And big checks are thousands of dollars of checks. And these aren't checks that you thought of, a few $100s here or there randomly. No, these are monster checks. And to get monster checks, you got to put in an effort. Not a monster effort, but you got to put in an effort. And we're going to go over those incredible checks starting right now. That first check is $6,500 to $12,000. It's a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. You heard me right. Upwards of $12,000. Would you like $12,000 today? Of course you would. It would really alleviate a lot of financial pressure you may have in your household. 75,000 less, single individual, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, and more, go get it. How do you get this incredible check? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Go right down in that membership newsletter delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system, and go right down to you find Check A. There it is. It describes a little bit more about it and then has a link to go right in and apply online. Yes, it's an online application. You go right into the nationwide website, you choose your state, and you pounce. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. You're not going to stop there yet. You're going to go get the Check B. It is also in the membership newsletter. And look at this money. Imagine if you got $80,000 today. How long would $80,000 pay your bills? It would definitely get you through the turmoil the next 90 days, $80,000. It would definitely get you potentially to January of next year. And then it potentially may survive you, to the middle part of next year till we learn what they're going to do with the recession and stimulus. Because a lot of people are going to be hurting. Will the government help us all out? We don't know. But these incredible checks B you can get right today. Thank goodness. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. It's a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. And how do you get it? You know the routine. Subscribe. You can repeat it back to me. Subscribe. Then become a member. Go into the video, hit that join button. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Go to the membership newsletter and go down to Check B and click and apply. It says $50,000 to $80,000, but the average channel viewer is getting about $66,000 to $80,000. Now, back in December 2020, when you said, LA, it's the pandemic, it's winter, I need some stimulus, I looked high and low and I found this. This was basically this before it was this. Is that confusing? Yeah. In December 2020, there was some money sitting around for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. I called it Purple. And I had the nonprofits. I had a lot of data, a lot of analysis, and I got people money. What little there was available then, and it was $250,000. Then when third stimulus became law, this was codified in the statute of third stimulus. And the difference was there's a lot of the money. And it's rent, it's utilities, it's mortgages, it's more. If you're a renter, this is you. If you're a homeowner, this is you. And the success stories were the result of viewers learning the skill and applying the skill. This is educational. A new report today says the job of the president is to be sort of an educator for the public, to explain how to do things. And it said that the president has really not explained a lot of the stuff he's doing. Well, that's what I sort of try to do on this channel. I try to explain to you where things are and show you as a teacher. Well, this is what happened. This is what, I guess, the students, I guess you would call the viewers of this channel got. Monster payouts, $20,000 to $30,000 for rent, $15,000 for utilities like Mark's brother-in-law, $25,000 a year over 10 years. That's per year for 10 years. That's $250,000 for Mark's brother-in-law for SNAP. For combos, this was then. Nisi at $23,000, Mark at $32,000. This was then. Nisi's now at $50,000, Mark is now at $166,000. How do they grow it? Because they continually go back and get money. It's Mark, it's Nisi, it's Lorraine, it's Margaret, it's Johnny. They listen and they learn. It's you. And this is Mark. 50, then he went to 160,000, then he went, when he went to 100,000, then he went to 166. Here's Lorraine. She's now pressing nearly $130,000. How do you get these incredible Check C's? You go right into that membership newsletter. You go down to Check C, and it tells you where to call, what to say, and how to say it. You put the effort in, and you get those payouts. And then when you get a check, you go get another check, and you keep on getting checks. As one of the long-standing stories I used to record on this channel was Johnny. Johnny was a viewer who in 3 days got $45,000. A lot of you would stop at $45,000 thinking, that's my success, I'm happy. No, because Johnny understood I said to him, do not stop. And between Wednesday at $45,000, he got by Sunday $80,000. He made at least another 10 more phone calls. That's how much he worked, and he got $80,000. So step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, go get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. The newsletter is delivered West Coast time. It's Pacific, so remember what time zone you're in, adjust it appropriately. If you're East Coast, it's 10 o'clock for you. If you're Midwest, it's 9 o'clock for you. The alert from YouTube says new LA post, and the first line says newsletter. Then it says click here to go to the post. You go right in and go get that incredible check. Go get it right away. Remember that forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state. The situation today is that we know certain things, and then other things we don't know. And if you look back in the last year, a lot of people have really messed up things for you by giving you wrong guidance. Starts at Jay Powell at the head of the Federal Reserve. It starts with Wall Street, it starts with analysts. Here is where things are going to be in the next 90 days, and then let's go over where things will likely be in the next 90 days. Some things we know and some things we don't know for certain. First, we know the consumer confidence will fall apart. It will be a lot worse than it is right now because the economy is not going to improve, so consumer confidence is going to be worse. When there's less consumer confidence, then people buy less, and then businesses will make less products because the demand is not there. Number two, consumer savings will go down. Number three, your interest rates will go up dramatically because there will be those rate hikes by the Federal Reserve. Number four, mortgage rates will go higher. Number five, anything that's impacted by rates will go lower, like the housing industry will continue to crash more. The stock market will be down. The cryptocurrency will be down. The auto industry will be down. And the labor market unemployment will not improve. We all know that is going to happen. What we don't know is how severe, how quickly, or how robust. Certainly what I'm today thinking to myself in the back of my head is this just the 13th? Is this just the 13th? Because between last Thursday and today, it's been whiplash. Now, let's make this very clear. Last week, I said that there are a lot of financial analysts out there saying the wrong things, and you and I talked about. They said there's no job layoffs. Untrue. They said everyone has a job. Untrue. They said everyone has consumer savings pent up. Untrue. They said they have all this. They said you have all this extra stimulus sitting around from 2 years ago. Untrue. All this stuff they were saying was untrue. Guess what happened? It shows you how smart people are. Consumer confidence fell apart on Friday because the consumer was not listening to that nonsense. They weren't listening to the nonsense. They saw there's inflation, and they saw that the gas is through the roof. And they said, this is not good. Now, let me make something clear to you because it's very important. It's going to be a very big topic on this channel for 6 months. The consumer may not know what to call this, downward spiral of the economy. Analysts may not agree on what to call it. I say the recession's coming next year. Very few analysts are still saying that. Very few analysts are still using the R word. They're just saying, downward spiral. Well, let me make this clear. The consumer, as of today in June, believes this is the recession. Now, I'm not worried about the terminology. I'm worried about the spooking. If they think this is the recession, God only knows what they're going to react, how they're going to react when in 90 days from now, it's going to be a lot worse. They'll say, wait, I thought we were already in the recession. This is worse. What is this thing? And then when we come to January, it's going to be even a lot worse. What are they all going to do? They're going to be here. They're going to be here. They're going to lose their jobs. They're going to look for that unemployment assistance. I won't have it. They're going to lose their business. They're going to look for the EIDL and EIDL grants. I won't have it. They're going to be in big financial problems. You've been with the channel for a long time. You remember what it was like in spring of 2020. Everyone was running with their head cut off trying to find some money. That's what's going to happen very soon. Now, I've been saying September. I may be wrong. It may be happening even sooner. People may be hurting earlier than September really badly and running around left and right to find that money. That's why you got to get these stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Now, here's what we don't know. I don't know how bad these foreign markets are going to implode in the next few weeks and how much they could bring down to us. The data points out of Italy and Germany are horrific. Those economies are really hurting very badly overnight. I mean, they went from celebratory times of January, February this year, and now they look like they're in the apocalypse. It's really, really just night and day in just a few minutes. That's the first thing we don't know. The second thing we don't know is what's going on with inflation. I don't believe the inflation is going to go lower. I think the inflation is here to stay. It's not going to go down. I think Jay Powell's going to keep on hitting it with those interest rate spikes, and it's not going to go down. What was that data point on Friday? That data point was the CPI came in at 8.5%. It was supposed to be 8.3. I mean, this is June. We thought the numbers were going to come down back in April or March. I mean, this is June. So could inflation still be running hot in 3 months from now? Yeah, it may not be down at all. And the problem with that, and you know what it is, your products in the market. Your products in the market could be going higher and higher and higher. Finally, oil. Let me go to the gasoline situation. I know that the price of Brent crude is down a little bit today. Don't read too much into it. It's because of the thought that China may be going back under lockdown again because of COVID surges. It's a little bit sort of tangled, but I don't want you to focus too much on it. The price of gasoline is going to go higher. Why is gasoline so darn expensive, and why is it keep on going higher? It's going higher because there's a bunch of countries, and not one of their leaders got any plan lined up to get this solved. Back in October of 2021, when Vladimir Putin put 100,000 Russian troops at the Ukrainian border, I said to you, what are they doing there? They don't belong there. If they invade Ukraine, this could be the biggest economic story of 2022. It is. And that we better have some oil lined up because we're going to have problems if they're invading. Well, I'm not the only person who said that. The President of the United States told Janet Yellen, go find a contingency plan to line up for some oil if Vladimir Putin invades. She didn't. She dropped the ball really badly. The Western allies, they all are a disgrace. I don't care what country it is. All their leaders are a disgrace. They all understood they're getting off of Russian oil. Did they get a contingency plan lined up? They did not. And I'm not talking about from October to March. I'm talking about from March to now. They knew they were banning Russian oil. They knew that OPEC Plus was reducing production capacity. Yeah, OPEC Plus was not helping us initially. And they knew this is a lot of oil, and they knew none of us, including the United States, can produce that type of replacement oil. Let's make this clear. We're missing about 3.5 million barrels of gasoline per day. We, as the United States economy, even if we open the Keystone Pipeline, if we increase production in Texas or West Texas or East Texas, that's hundreds of thousands of barrels a day. We cannot generate 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing for all the economies at the same time per day because of the Russian embargo and reduced OPEC Plus capacity. We have 5 choices, and they are Venezuela, Brazil, OPEC Plus, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. And we have really just not done well. You know, there's an old story, an old saying: you don't chop your foot off to spite. Oh, I just messed it up. Well, you know what the expression is. Jump the light chat. Write the expression. You you don't choke on the plate that's in front of you where you eat. Yeah, I messed that one up as well. You know what the expression is. The president has really messed up every possible option for him by really angering all his potential options. He only has 5. The first one, Venezuela. He upset that one last week. He did not invite them to the Americas conference here in Los Angeles. They're pissed. They're not going to do a deal with us. Number 2, Brazil. They're embargoed with us, just like Venezuela, because of human rights violations, and the White House has excluded them. Number 3, OPEC Plus and UAE. UAE is one of our allies, even though they have human rights violations as well. They just all do. And the White House angered them because they specifically said, we were available, you should have reached out to us, you pursued Iran. What about Iran? Iran, the White House had Germany and France try to do a deal with them on nuclear warheads, and that deal fell apart and no one followed through on it. We really don't know why the deal fell through. Then OPEC Plus and Saudi Arabia, the last 2 choices. Saudi Arabia is part of OPEC Plus, so you have to sort of do an OPEC Plus deal to get Saudi Arabia. And here is where it gets insane. The President of the United States was here in Los Angeles last week. He jetted out of Santa Monica Municipal Airport here in Santa Monica. That's why it's called Santa Monica. And he was asked on the tarmac the question I wanted someone to ask him for 2 weeks. God bless the reporter who asked the question. Are you going to Saudi Arabia to get oil? He says, I am going to Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to go in there for oil. Oh boy. So where's the oil coming from? Joe Biden does not have oil lined up for you. He does not have oil bought for you. The Western allies do not have oil bought for you. And you're hurting dramatically. And none of these countries, from all the way from Germany to the United States, from England to Italy, from France to Sweden, none of these countries have gasoline lined up for anyone. Folks, we got a big problem. And that's why the price of gasoline is going to go out of control. And I got to tell you, you may be angry at one country's leader. You got to be angry at all these countries' leaders, because this problem was very much apparent back in March, and all they did was ban Russian oil and didn't get a contingency plan lined up. And here's a new messaging for today. This problem could be around a while. This problem could be around a while because they don't have anything even in the pipeline of a solution, theoretical pipeline. Finally, some good news, and it's coming up tonight on the Evenings LA. It's coming up tonight on the Evenings LA. It involves a lot of analysis, so that's why you're not seeing on Afternoons today. But it is involving your SS300. I got to tell you, this is a very, very, very great news story, but it's very complicated. Let me explain why is this so complicated. You understand what SS300 is. Joe Biden's promise to swap COLA for inflation. Your benchmark is COLA, C-O-L-A, that determines how much your benefits go up each year. COLA doesn't work. It was 5% last year. That's why your benefits went up 5%. Joe Biden, since the campaign trail and since day one of his administration, wants to swap COLA for inflation because inflation's tracking at 8.3%. That's SS300. If you made the swap, your benefits would go up $200 more per month, and if inflation's at 4% later this year, then another $100 on top of that. That's SS300. You understand what that is. Okay, here's the breaking news on this one, and it's really elaborate, and I'm going to go over more tonight on the Evenings LA. COLA could be going to 8%. COLA could be going to 8% even without swapping COLA for inflation. Wait a second, I thought COLA doesn't move. Well, we saw last year that COLA moved when inflation was going higher, and you did get cheated when COLA came in at 5+% and inflation was 8% at the time, so you got cheated by nearly 3%. But COLA could go as high as inflation and give you that 8% raise. I'm going to go over this analysis tonight. Why am I not doing it here? Because it involves a lot of sub-benchmarks like CPIW and CPIE, which are very, very complicated. I want to slow it down for you. But it's evolving these numbers that come out of Friday's number. Friday's number, the CPI, was so darn high that it's now driving up these sub-numbers they use to determine COLA. Wow. If COLA was 8% this December, then how much more would your benefits go up? They would go up $200 more on top of your existing raise up from last year. So you got a raise last year. You're currently getting paid more right now. You get additional $200 on top of that. It's getting exciting. I'll have that tonight on Evenings LA. It's at 5 o'clock in prime time, America's most watched show for financial news. Finally, some important narrative and important things to go over. This economy is getting really bad very quickly. This economy is getting very, very bad very, very quickly. And this is where people who have information are going to be separated from people who have lack of information. Information is going to put you ahead of the person next door on the front porch. Your information about where this economy is, your information where this economy is going, is going to make you put you in a better position than someone else. Case in point, your neighbor may go out and buy a brand new car and say, well, the dealers are all sticking it to everyone because, there's so much demand for cars. That was last year's data. The dealer will tell you that. The dealers are trying to run the narrative like this is 2021. It's not. Here's another example. You'll go into the supermarket, you run into a friend, they said, credit card debt is really bad. Oh, I paid off my credit card debt. Why? Because I heard the rates are going to go up through the roof. That was really smart. I should have done that. And then you'll see people that went in and waited to buy a home, and they said, I'm trying to buy a home now. I can't afford it. The mortgage rates are going high, and they're still getting higher. This is where information is going to set you apart from other people. When economies are changing very quickly, very dramatically in a very short period of time, a lot of people lose money very quickly, and a lot of people make money very quickly. A lot of people are in a better situation because they prepared accordingly months ahead of time. And as I said earlier in this video, when that pandemic hit in March of 2020, no one saw it coming. It was very abrupt, very sudden. No one ever heard of a lockdown in the American economy, and you had no time to prepare. You have time to prepare. You subscribe to this channel right now. What are you doing? Subscribe to this channel right now. Become a member. Hit that membership link and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Calcino VIP, because over the next 90 days, something else is going to change. This channel. This channel is going to change a lot, because this is going to be the #1 story in the American economy, in the American landscape in 90 days. The economy. And this channel looks to be #2 in the United States for financial news. Tell people to come on over. Tell people to subscribe. Tell people to come on and watch the show. At least watch 2 or 3 shows per day, because you cannot miss the situation. There's so much happening, and you need to be ahead of the ball game and have every pot of information you can. I'll see you tonight on Evenings LA at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Don't miss me then. I'll be going over the data on that point, and also that breaking news on that COLA and that CPIA and the inflation and your benefits. It's a big show tonight. 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day, and stay with LA for more.